you start recording now, and then this part will not be recorded, which I already explained now. This part will be gone.
I started
Sir, screen
recording.
gone.
Screen gone now. Let me share again. Start. Okay. Okay, Chandan, you start recording then. And
Yes, sir, started.
so I hope you have understood this part, right? The mutual inductance can be positive, it can be of supporting each other or opposing each other, and accordingly we will cover these circuit equations, E1 minus L1. And so these equations you are understanding. Are you understanding this part?
Yes, sir.
Right, good. Then we can move on to the so once we understand that, so what is the difference between the cases where mutual inductance is also involved? Not much difference. Effectively, it is nearly same thing only. But yes, one thing I would like to add here. Why was I not able to add this term with the second term? Reason was it is I1 and second is I2. When can I get same currents in both? I can have such examples where I have same currents in both. For example, if I have one inductor here, L1, and another inductor here in series with it, L2, then this inductor may be sending some field lines to the second inductor, right? It may be sending the field lines which is in the due to the first inductor, but this is going to the second inductor also. So then there will be some mutual inductance. Let me represent by different colors. One inductor I will represent by wound around this. Second inductor I will wound around this one. So one inductor is here, like a spring, this way, and then this wire goes here from here, and then it is going to this side, and then here current was going in upward direction, this way, this way, this way, and then it came from back side, this side, and then it started coming from back. How the current will be in the second inductor? I think it is going this way, then it will come down, 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 this way. I can arrange the inductors in such a way so that the inductance of 1 and inductance of 2, these are the field due to 1 and the field due to 2 will not be in the same direction. What will be the direction of the field due to the left one? I think
Left side. Left side.
And due to the right
Towards
one?
left.
Right turn.
Towards
Right side.
Due to the, yes, towards right. So these blue lines, blue magnetic and the red magnetic field lines, are these supporting each other or are these opposing each other?
Opposing.
Opposing each other. So if these are opposing each other, then what will be the effective inductance of this? Normal formula for series will be L1 plus L2. Why? Because you know what will become here? How do we know that this will become the formula? By writing the KVL equation, I can tell. Let us write the KVL equation. The KVL equation will be, this is current is I here. So equation will be start from E. E minus L1 into di by dt, right? But the flux through the first is not only due to first, it is also due to the second one. So I should write here one more term of mutual inductance also. And that mutual inductance means this inductor has two parts. It has self-inductance part in series with some, we can think mutual inductance part. And mutual inductance of same sign or of opposite sign? Of opposite. Why opposite? Sign. Because of the reason that the blue field lines are opposing it. So I will write minus of minus, but current this time will be same. Di by dt only. This is first term. Second, go to the second current. When I go to the second, then L2 is opposing minus L2 into di by dt. But again, this also is of opposite sign as compared to its mutual inductance will also be minus m. So I will write it as minus of minus m again, and I can say it is into di by dt. And then I came back to the same initial position is equal to 0. So what is it coming out to be? E minus L1 minus m into di by dt plus, not plus, sorry, minus again, minus L2 into L2 minus m into di by dt is equal to 0. So we are getting E minus L1 minus m plus L2 minus m whole into di by dt. So what is the effective inductance coming out to be? What is effective inductance? L1 plus L2 series minus 2m into di by dt is equal to 0. So what kind of inductance I can have for the in such cases when there are multiple in series or in L1 plus L2, either it could be plus 2m or it could be L1 plus L2 minus 2m. Because if its inductance is becoming L1 minus m, then others will also become L2 minus m. It cannot happen that it's becoming L1 plus m and others is becoming L1 L2 minus m. That is not possible. If one is L1 minus m, because they are opposing each other. If they are opposing, then for second also they will be opposing only. And when they are opposing, then I will write L2 minus m, and here I will write L1 minus m. Is it okay? So what kind of so series formula for inductance? If somebody asks you series formula for inductance, some books are giving it wrong. They are just saying L1 plus L2. Completely absurd and wrong thing to do. It is not just L1 plus L2, but is yes, if they are not giving us mutual inductance, then obviously I have also no way to do in that case. If they are not specifying what is the mutual inductance between these two inductors, then in that case I have no option, but I will take the self inductance as L1 plus L2. That's it. I cannot do any other thing. What about in parallel? In parallel also, and what about when we have multiple such inductors, L1, L2, and L3, then it is even more interesting case. Then I have to write L1 minus M12, and it may also happen that it may happen like this also, minus M12 but plus M13. Means these two may be supporting each other, but these two may be opposing each other. So minus M12 but plus M13. Then what will be L2 effective? L2 effective will become, tell me now, you are understanding or not? Let us see now. What will be L2 effective?
Minus M21.
Minus M12 or M21, same thing now, because M12 and M21 are same. So minus M12 and
minus M2
Minus M13.
it will be
Minus
minus
M13.
okay, let us see one thing here.
M23.
Its magnetic field, one's magnetic field and the third's magnetic field. 1 and 3 are opposing or supporting? 1 and 3 are supporting. They are in same direction. So 1 and 3 are supporting. Then what about
2 and 3 opposing?
2 and 1 will be?
Opposing.
2 and 1 will be opposing. Then what do we get here? Then I will be getting
2 and 3 opposing.
L1
then
1 3 opposing.
minus 2 and 3 are opposing. So it fits into minus 2, 3, I think, right? Minus 2, 3.
Yes, sir.
2 and 3 will be opposing, right? Because 1 and 3 are same side only, right? And what about L3? L3 will become now. L3 will become
L3 plus M1
plus
L3 plus
Plus
M3
M13
M13
plus M31 minus M23
minus
M23.
M23, right? This.
M32.
So you are understanding now what happens, and then what will be series effective combination of this? Effective will become L1 plus L2 plus L3. How many times M13? Plus 2 times M13. How many times M12? Everything 2 times. Minus 2 times M12. How many times M23? Minus 2 times M23. This is the effective inductance of this circuit. Once we know the effective inductance, then I can just replace it by a single inductor with this effective inductance, and then I can solve in usual way. Okay, this is how it, if it is case of 3. So see how the things can become more complicated when there are more inductances. And it will be more complicated when they are not just in series like this, one after the other. They can be arranged in different way. For example, one may be here and the other may be here in parallel. And they may be carrying different currents also. That is also possible. So if it is carrying, what should I do now? Here I should give some currents, maybe, okay. L1 and L2, and this, I want to write the equation for this, how to write now, and what will be the effective inductance of this. So current I goes from here, and how much will be divided? This will be divided into I1 and I2, all right? Yesterday I told you how to plot the graphs for the ideal inductors. Ideal inductors I will be varying as a function of time. If it is ideal inductor, just straight line graph, θ1 angle, θ2 angle, depending upon what was that formula? L into di by dt was equal to EMF. So I can say L into I was equal to EMF into T, or I was equal to EMF into time by L. So that slope is inversely proportional to L. Theta less means L1 greater than L2. If L1 greater than L2, then θ1 will be less than θ2. So here I have plotted both graphs for I2 and for I1 as a function of time. L1 is greater than L2, so θ2 is coming out to be inversely, right? Right only. I is inversely proportional. So yes, right only. This is how these will be varying, as there is no resistance in series. If there is no resistance, then we can do like this only. question is, but what will be the effective inductance of this circuit? How to write the effective inductance? Let us try to write the effective inductance. So I can say equation will be something like this. E is equal to L into di1 by dt, L1 into di1 by dt, and E is also equal to L2 into di2 by dt. Or I can write, as I know already, wait a second. I can use this formula at last, and I can write I1 is equal to E by L1 into T. I2 is equal to, yes, mutual inductance is also there. That also I have to take. I cannot do that, right?
Yes, sir.
I cannot do that. Wait a second. So how they are supporting or opposing, I have to decide first. Let me decide something. Maybe these are sending field lines in this way and coming here backwards. And these are
Supporting.
no, I cannot tell directly. How can you tell? In order to tell that whether these are supporting or opposing, I have to make 3D diagram, in which I can really say in which direction the currents were flowing. For example, if I just give you a spring-shaped diagram here like this, how can you tell the current is going upwards or going downwards? Towards my side, the current is going up or it's going down. How can we tell? We cannot say anything. So I have to make a 3D diagram to really understand. Otherwise, you have to believe the person who is giving. Maybe I'm giving these are supporting each other. Let us say these are supporting. Then it will be plus M, and here also it will be plus M. I'm already saying that these are supporting each other. And
Sir,
that L1
currents
plus
are
M.
different, no, sir. Plus M into D2, di2 by d2. Currents are difference means M into di2 by dt, sir.
Yes, again, that same thing again. Wait a second, let me do it again. Sorry. Currents will be different here, right? Then, okay, let me write for one circuit at a time. For the first circuit, it will be E minus L1 into di1 by dt, but they are supporting, so it will be minus only. Same. If it is minus, it is also minus of M into, but it is di2 by dt. That is equal to 0 at last. And another one is E minus L2 into di2 by dt minus M into di1 by dt. That is second one. Number one, number two. But this is not enough, I think. I can see I cannot solve it if I don't write one more equation here.
Sir, one say sign of M, sir.
Sign of M, I assumed it. Otherwise, see, I told you if I really want to find out, then I have to make a 3D diagram. But I don't want to do that now. Just I'm assuming that this flux was in such a way that this was supporting each other.
Okay, sir.
Therefore, I took the sign to be positive here.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Means it was just my assumption. I could have taken, if I take L1 minus M for the upper one, then I will take L2 minus M for the lower one also.
Okay, sir.
In fact, we can do this thing also. We can keep on assuming first that all these are supporting each other, and I can assume all M's are with a positive sign. And at last, if somebody finds that okay, these were opposing each other, then in last we can replace M by minus M. Then we will still get the answer. So no need to worry that much, right? So, so now one equation more we have, that is if I observe this loop here, yes, that is also there. I1 plus I2 is equal to net current, and between these two also, within this smaller loop also, I can write one equation if I want. I can say L1 plus M into di1 by dt is equal to L2 plus M into di2 by dt. This also we have. From the third equation, I can write L1 plus into I1 is equal to L2 plus M into I2. Is it right or not? From the third equation. Why? Because the dt will get cancelled and we integrate it. Then 0 to I1 and 0 to I2.
1 and 2 by subtraction also third equation.
But if we would do what?
Subtract 1 and 2, we get same.
Yes, by subtracting 1 and 2 also we can get same. You're right only. Then also we are getting same.
Then we will
Otherwise
get
also.
L1 minus M into di1 by dt equal to L2 minus M. Sir.
So which equations I need at last? I think third equation and the fourth equation are enough or not?
So there will get minus, sir.
Where?
L1 minus M into di1 by dt is equal to?
Are we getting minus sign?
Yes, sir.
Minus only, sir.
No. Wait a second. How?
Yes, sir. Minus only, sir.
Yes, sorry, again. That same mistake, I don't know how many times I will commit it. Sorry. I was trying to equate the EMF of the upper branch and the lower branch, but again, I did the same mistake. In fact, this mistake was appearing because of this reason. I am directly writing it as L1 plus M. I should not write it like that. I cannot directly write L1 plus M. I have to write L1. And I can do this thing. I can write L1, comma, M. L2, comma, M. But I cannot say it is just L1 plus M or it is L2 plus M, or this cannot be added sometimes. No, so I'm just writing L1, comma, M. Okay. So then I will be getting L1 into di1 by dt, L1 into di1 by dt plus M into di2 by dt. I should have written for the upper one, for the upper branch. And for the lower branch, I should have written L2 into di2 by dt plus M into di1 by dt. I should have written for the lower branch. That way I should have equated the EMFs. And then I think what you are getting is right. From that we will be getting L1 minus M into di1 by dt is equal to L2 minus M into di2 by dt. Then I get L1 minus M into di1 is equal to L2 minus M into di2 integral L1 minus M into I1 is equal to L2 minus M into I2. This equation 1, and already we know that I1 plus I2 was equal to I. I want to eliminate I1 and I2 and I want to write these in terms of I. Is it possible to do that or not? I think possible.
Yes,
I want
sir.
to write I1 and I2 in terms of I. It is possible.
Equal to K.
Yes. I can do this thing. I can take I1 by I2 ratio. I1 by I2 ratio is equal to L2 minus M by L1 minus M, right? Then I will do this thing here. I will divide this term by I2 and I will divide this also by I2. Then I will be getting here 1 plus I1 by I2 is equal to I total divided by I2. But I1 by I2 from this equation I got it. Then I can write this thing as 1 plus L2 minus M upon L1 minus M is equal to I divided by I2. So what is I2 coming out at last? I2 is coming out to
L1
be
minus M into I by
L1 minus M into I divided by
L1 plus L2 minus 2M.
L1 plus L2 minus 2M. You are right. This is I2. And what is I1 now? I1 I can get from this equation directly here. I1 was
L2 minus M into I by
L2 minus
M
M
into I by
into I by L1 plus L2 minus 2M. We are getting these values. But what was the aim? Why I got these values? I wanted to finally get this net inductance. What is meaning of net inductance? Means if I take a single inductor, connected with a single battery, then that single inductor should give me same equation, which I will be getting from this. Means I can write E minus L into di by dt equal to 0. Or I should be able to write L is equal to E is equal to L into di by dt. So what is that single equation of? Think about it here. Here I will be getting that single equation of how? Start by substituting the value of I2 in terms of I and I1 also in terms of I. Let us write that. I2 in terms of I. So I2 in terms of I, why don't I just put it for the time being as K2 into I, and this I'm putting as K1 into I. K1 and K2 are constants. Okay. Then what our equation transforms into? This equation will transform into E minus L2 into K2 into di2 by dt minus M into K1 into di by
in the second term also, sir.
di
by dt. Di by dt, here also di by dt is equal to 0. So I think now we are getting L2 K2 and MK1. So finally I can write this thing as E minus L2. Was it L2 K2 or not? Yes, L2 K2. So minus L2 K2
minus mk1
plus m into k1 into di by dt is equal to 0. Comparing these two, I get effective LS L2 K2 plus m into K1. But now I have to put the value of K2 and K1. K2 was, can somebody remember it? L1 minus m? L1 minus m, or no, wait a second. I can
L1
copy
minus
also
m
this
by
thing.
L1 plus L2 minus 2m, sir.
Yes, say it. What was it? L1
L1 minus m
minus m
by L1
by
plus L2 minus 2m.
minus 2m. This was multiplied by L2 plus m into K1. I think K1 I remember. That was L2 minus m upon L1 plus L2 minus 2m. K1. Yes. K1 means this L1 is changed into L2. Remaining all terms are same. So, where was that? Where were we? Wait a second. This only, right? So, what we get effective LS? See how complicated it is becoming. It is coming out to be L1, L2
minus m square
minus m L2 plus m L2 minus m square. This is cancelled at last upon L1 plus L2 minus 2m. So what is the effective self-inductance for these? L1, L2 minus m square upon L1 plus L2 minus 2m. If mutual inductance is negligible, if mutual inductance tends to 0 or it is negligible, then I can write L as L1, L2 upon L1 plus L2. Means the self-inductance formula or the series inductance and parallel inductance formula just behave like a resistance for those cases where the mutual inductance is 0. Where there is no mutual inductance, then we have same formula as that of resistance. In resistance also we have R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2 for parallel combination. And in this case also we are having same thing for parallel combination. But if I want to go with complete mutual inductance also taken into account, then see how complicated the formula becomes. It is L1 L2 minus m square upon L1 plus L2 minus 2m, which is not same as just L1 L2 upon L1 plus L2. Okay. And this is only for two inductors in parallel. Imagine what will happen if there are multiple inductors in parallel. When it was so complicated just for two inductors, it will really be troublesome, much troublesome for the many more inductors to come. So, therefore, no need to do these questions in that detail, and it is enough for us if we are able to do just two inductors also in parallel. It is good enough. Next. Energy stored in the inductor, I already told you this formula, right? LC circuits. LC circuits I have not told yesterday. This is something new. LC circuits or LC oscillations. Now, if I have one inductor here, one inductor and one capacitor, and inductor has some magnetic field, capacitor has some electric field here stored inside it, energy in the form of electric field. So actually total energy of magnetic field and the inductive in the form of this electric field, this total energy remains constant if the resistance in the circuit is 0, if there is no resistance in the circuit. And our equation will be this here. Can you write this equation? EMF minus L into di by dt here, right here, minus L into di by dt in this part, minus Q by C for the capacitance, and again back to the same place is equal to 0. Now, differentiate this term with respect to time. This first equation, complete you differentiate with respect to time. What will be the derivative of first part of this? EMF is constant, then derivative of first part will be 0. Yes, 0 only, right? Second part term. Second part will have derivative L into d square I by dt square, it will become Q, dq by dt. dq by dt will become minus I by C. And why I'm writing minus here? Here it should be plus, and then finally it will become minus when this minus goes that side. But anyway, at last, this is a very simple equation. I have equated this, I have compared it with SHM. In SHM, what we do? we write acceleration d square x by dt square is equal to minus omega square x.
Minus omega square.
And when we get this equation, we don't even worry. We quickly write the result solution. Solution comes out to be x is equal to a sine omega t plus phi. So same thing. Now compare these terms here. Compare here I is equivalent to what? Here I is equivalent to x. And 1 upon LC is equivalent to what? 1 upon LC is equivalent to
Omega square.
omega square. So what is omega here? Omega will come out to be
1 by root LC.
1 by root of LC. This is called as frequency of oscillations. This is frequency in the right hand side. In SHM, it is frequency, angular frequency of vibration. And this in left hand side, it is angular frequency of SHM. Okay, it is angular frequency of SHM. What will be frequency of SHM and what will be time period of SHM? Not SHM, oscillations, LC oscillations. What will be the time period of LC oscillations? Time period of LC oscillations will be 2 pi by omega, that you can obtain the time period. 2 pi root of LC. But okay, but what is oscillating? We should understand this also. What is oscillating? So you can see here what is oscillating. Current is oscillating because current is variable. But we understand, I told you in SHM, I think before, while I was teaching waves at that time also I told you, that it is not just one thing which is oscillating. There are several other things which are oscillating. What will be derivative of x doing? What will be derivative of x doing? Will it be oscillating or not? Velocity will also be SHM. What will be double derivative of x doing? Double derivative of x will also be
Oscillating.
that will also be SHM only. So when x is varying sinusoidally, then velocity will be varying sinusoidally, then acceleration will be varying sinusoidally. All these are SHMs. Similarly, when I is executing SHM, then derivative L into di by dt. What is EMF? EMF is L into di by dt across the inductor. So that EMF across the inductor will also be, and EMF across capacitor is equal to Q by C. So EMF across capacitor, the voltage across capacitor, I should say, the voltage across capacitor is also SHM. The voltage across inductor is also SHM. So all these are executing SHM separately. Charge, Q will also be executing SHM. How? If I integrate it, then I will be getting charge as a function of sine omega t or cos omega t, something or not? Yes. So charge will also be SHM. So charge is SHM, I is SHM, L into A by dt, etc. All are SHMs. All are simple harmonic motions. Next thing, how do we obtain the value of amplitude of oscillation and the phase? By initial conditions. What do we mean by initial conditions? By putting the values of x and v at t equal to 0. For example, if they are saying that when the spring mass system started oscillating, initially it was brought to the extreme position and it was released. In the extreme position, what is the velocity? Velocity is 0. Then what I will do here, I will differentiate the x and I will get the velocity, and in that velocity term I will put t equal to 0. And when I do that, then I will be getting a from that, right or not? A or something, what I will be getting from that. If I differentiate it, I get a omega cos omega t plus phi. And also I know one more thing. At t equal to 0, x is equal to a. At t equal to 0, x is equal to a. If it is given, or amplitude is given, let us say 2 meters or something, then that will be a. So I am getting a also. I will be getting phi also from that. Will I be getting or not? By two equations. By these two we will be getting. If not these two, then you can check one more also, acceleration. Then you can check one more, acceleration also you can see. By these three we will definitely be getting. Similarly here, I can check these three values. Either I will be known initially, or Q will be known initially, or L into di by dt will be known initially. EMF, voltage across the inductor, will be known initially. If any of these things are known initially, then I can get this value of I naught, peak current, and I can get the value of flux. I can get those things. Right. Now,
Sir, you told R tends to 0.
R is 0 here. Resistance.
R tends to 0.
Means R is 0? What is means? R is 0 here. Resistance, R is resistance.
No, sir, you explained something, no, sir.
What?
Before telling R tends to 0, you explained something, sir. I not listen.
I don't know what I explained. I did not explain. I just told here. I did not explain anything. Whatever I explained, that is here only written in front of you. Nothing extra. I told omega. What is the frequency of oscillation? And I told that SHM can be equated with this is also like SHM only. Here, what is executing SHM? The position, the velocity, and acceleration. Here, what is executing SHM? The current, the charge, and the voltage across inductor. Those are executing SHM. If you know these things, and if you know how to determine the phases by putting the initial conditions, then you know everything in this. You need not know any other thing. Okay. If R is not 0, then what happens? If R is not 0, then we can think this motion will be like the motion with friction also, some drag, air drag, where KV, we have taken some damped oscillations where drag force is equal to BV. This will act like a drag force here. This resistance will act like a drag force because it will, some energy will be dissipated in the resistors. So it will be acting like a damped oscillation. Okay. Not only damped oscillation, also forced damped oscillation, because E is acting like force. If I remove E and I just connect resistance, then it is like damped oscillation. But if E is also present and resistance is also present, then E is like external force. So it is acting like forced oscillations. Okay, it is acting like forced oscillations. But with resistance, it will be like forced damped oscillations. Okay, forced oscillations with damping, I should say. Forced oscillation with damping. Anyway, this is done. We can understand when there is no resistance, then total energy will be conserved. I told that also, I think if you were asking me what I told this thing also, that when resistance will be 0, then total energy stored in the form of magnetic field and in the form of electric field will be conserved. I can say this thing will be constant, half Li square plus half C E square. In this case, battery is there, battery can do some work. But in one cycle, the net work done by battery will also be 0. Is it true or not? In one complete cycle, because current is executing SHM. So means it will change sign. Once current will be positive, then current will become negative. So once the battery will supply some current and then battery will take the current back. So it will supply some energy and it will take the energy back. So in that case, overall, it will be like just oscillations in which that on an average energy remains constant. But if I want to take that case where there is no battery, just capacitor and inductor, and there is no battery, then what happens in such cases? There was just a switch here in the beginning, and then switch was closed at t equal to 0. In this case, not that. In this case, initially it was charged. So it was having some charge Q minus Q, or maybe I will take capital Q charge. The maximum charge was capital Q. At any instant of time, the charge will be small q. At any instant of time, it will be small q. In the beginning, it is capital Q. So it will start discharging. As it starts discharging, the current through the inductor will start increasing. As the current through the, if it is directly capacitor connected with short circuit, then what happens? Then capacitor will get discharged instantaneously. What is the time constant for discharging? RC. If R is 0, then time constant will become 0. And in 5 time constants, which is also nearly 0, then in 0 time only, it will be completely discharged. Instantaneously, it will be discharged. But for the case of inductor, it will not be discharging instantaneously because inductors will try to oppose the rate of change of current through it. So it will slowly increase. It will not increase instantaneously. It will increase slowly. And then the capacitor will become discharged. It will be, what will be the rate of increase of, what will be the rate at which the current will be increasing? That rate at which the current will be increasing will be equal to Q by C. As long as the voltage across it is there, plus minus, this will be trying to increase it. Okay. As the charge starts decreasing, then the rate of increase of current will also start decreasing. But if rate of increase of current is decreasing, does not mean that the current is decreasing. Current is still increasing, but the rate at which the current was increasing, that rate is decreasing. And when the charge becomes 0, then automatically, if charge becomes 0, then Q by C will be 0. Q by C 0, then voltage across inductor will also be 0. Because these are in parallel to each other. If voltage across capacitor 0, then voltage across inductor 0. If that is 0, then L into di by dt 0. If L into di by dt 0, then I becomes maximum. in that place. When I becomes maximum, then what is the voltage across the capacitor at that instant of time? That voltage across capacitor is 0, no charge here, but current is now maximum. It will attain some peak value, maybe I naught. So that energy which was initially present in the form of electric field, that energy is now only present in the form of magnetic field lines in the inductor. And here capacitor has no energy now, 0 energy. But inductor is carrying already some current I. What it will do now? It will start charging the capacitor in opposite direction, because it is still, see, it has inertia property. You know, this inertia of current is there. Inertia of motion, the way mass has inertia of motion, the inductor has inertia of current. And that inertia will try to keep on maintaining the current as I naught, even though there is no EMF across it. But this current will be now, because of inertia of the current, it will start charging the capacitor. And when it starts charging the capacitor, then what happens to that inertia? Then it will start becoming plus Q charge here, and it will be minus Q charge. And then voltage will be trying to oppose this increase of current. Current is entering into it, but this voltage will try to decrease this. So now as a result, I will start decreasing. And when I will again become 0, I will become 0 again when this charge again becomes maximum, and it again acquires the same charge which it was having in the beginning, plus Q. Then I will become 0 at that instant of time. So it will have this kind of curve. I will have this kind of curve. But when it has 0 current, when the current becomes 0, then the capacitor becomes fully charged. As it was having initial charge, that charge it acquires again. Then this is the energy stored here right now in the capacitor. When it acquires that fully complete charge, now what happens after that? After that, now it will start getting discharge in opposite direction. Then it will try to send current in opposite direction. If it tries to send current in the opposite direction, then see, again same thing will happen in the opposite side. So it is like an oscillation. Current is increasing, then decreasing, then increasing, and then decreasing, and it keeps on repeating like that only, indefinitely. If R is 0, then it will keep on happening indefinitely like that only. Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
Right. So now, time period of oscillation, you already know. What will be the time period of this current oscillation? That will be equal to 2 pi into root of LC. That will be the time period of oscillation. Now, let me ask one question here. Try to answer that. It will be difficult somewhat. You remember the question where I used to take multiple capacitors in series, and I used to say that some of these are charged, maybe Q1 charge, Q2 charge. Some are in same side, some are in opposite direction, minus Q3, minus Q4. And then I used to say that there was a switch and which is closed. Then what will be the final charge? Can you do this question? What will be the final charge in these? Capacitances are capacitances C1, C2, C3, C4. How did we used to do such question? If you remember it, then you can tell me. I have told you very, very big shortcut for this. Quick, in one step, we get answer for these questions in one step.
Convert into a battery and one single capacitor.
Yes, right. All the charge capacitors can be converted into a battery. Very good point. You remember it. Nice. So this is like a battery. This is also like a battery. Third one is also like a battery. And sorry, third one is of opposite polarity battery, of opposite polarity. Third one is a battery, but with opposite polarity. Fourth one is a battery, but with opposite polarity. And in series with effective capacitance of these all, that will be CS. What will be CS? 1 by CS is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 and dot, dot, dot. What is this? Q1 by C1. This is Q2 by C2. This is Q3 by C3. This is Q4 by C4. Let us call it E1, E2, E3, and E4. Then what charge it will send? I don't know which is greater. I'm assuming E1 plus E2 was greater than E3 plus E4. Then effective battery will become E1 plus E2 minus E3 minus E4. And this battery is going to charge the effective series capacitance. then what charge it will supply to it? Charge supplied will become effective EMFE into CS, right? So far it is okay.
Yes,
Not
sir.
okay. All right. Same question I will ask again, but this time I will change the situation. Now I will give you one charge capacitor and another uncharged capacitor. Just two I will give you. Two are enough to make the point. If you know how to do for two cases, then you can do for other cases also. If you just know how to do for case of two. One is having charge Q, capacitance C, other also capacitance C, plus minus. Initially switch was open and it is closed at T equal to 0. This has inductance cell. Now what do you expect? What will happen in this case? First of all, make the equivalent diagram. Equivalent diagram is battery of EMF Q by C. In series, there is a capacitance of what capacitance? C in series with C, C by 2. And there is a inductance also. This is battery of EMFE. Do you know how to solve such circuit now? If it is a battery of EMFE, and what will be the final condition during equilibrium? Equilibrium means what here? Equilibrium means when the equilibrium here means when the voltage, when the mass is in equilibrium, the net force acting on the mass is 0. When L will be in equilibrium, then net EMF across L will be 0. So VL will be equal to 0. Let us find that condition of equilibrium when VL is 0. When will be VL 0 in this? VL will be 0 when the voltage across this battery and this will be same, or when this will be completely charged. Which will be completely charged? The capacitor will be fully charged. So I think you know that the capacitor will acquire what charge? C by 2 into E will be the charge acquired. So what charge will be flown through the circuit? Charge flowing through the circuit will be Q by C into C by 2. That is Q by 2 charge will be flowing through the circuit.
E will be 2Q by C.
E will be, let me check once. No, E is Q by C only. What is the problem? Why? This thing has equivalent this thing here. This has Q charge and C capacitance. Then how will I get 2Q by C? Tell me. Right? It is just Q by C only.
Sir, why VL equal to 0 on substance?
Why?
VL equal to 0.
No, I said I will find out that when VL is 0, then what will be the charge stored? You may ask, you don't ask why VL is 0. VL not will be 0. But in some instant, VL will be 0 or not. Like when we were taking the case, I know in such cases there will be oscillations. If there are oscillations, then in oscillations, everything will go like this. So some point will come then when the current will be 0, some point will come when the voltage will be 0. So there is no harm in assuming that there will be some point when the voltage across inductor will become 0. There is no harm in assuming that. But you can ask me this question, sir, why are you interested in finding that instant of time or the charge in that instant of time when the voltage becomes 0 across the inductor? That you can ask me, because I know VL is equal to DL into DI by dt. Is it that or not? If I know when VL is becoming 0, then I can tell one more thing, that when current becomes maximum, because DI by dt 0 means by maximum minima condition, I know either the current will be maximum or it will be minimum. Minimum current we know is 0 only. It is a peak value only, definitely. It is peak value of the current. Right or not?
Yes, sir.
So I want to find out what is the peak value of current. How to find out the peak value of current? Okay, let me ask it in a question form. I was giving this question and I was asking you, find maximum current flowing through inductor. Let us say this was the question. Find maximum current flowing through the inductor. If I want you to find that, then indirectly you should know di by dt should be 0. And if di by dt is 0, then L into di by dt is 0. If L into di by dt is 0, then VL is 0. If VL is 0, then I will just assume that this EMF will be appearing completely across capacitor only. And there will be no voltage across this. That will be 0 only. Right?
Yes, sir.
Then I can write, then I can make an equivalent diagram like this also. This is the equivalent diagram. There is no voltage across the inductor, just across capacitor it is, and that capacitor is series capacitance C by 2, and this EMF is E. Then I can say what charge is given to the capacitor up to that time. Charge given to the capacitor will be Q by 2 by this formula, C by 2 into E, this. Is it okay so far?
Yes, sir.
Then now you tell me one thing. What will be the situation? This is our battery assumption only, but actual situation is not this. Actual situation is there is an inductor, there will be another capacitor. I know what is the charge flown. It was having charge initially Q. How much it has sent already? It has sent Q by 2 because charge flown in the circuit was Q by 2. Then what charge is remaining in this? Q by 2. What charge is coming to the other side also? Q by 2. Here plus Q by 2, other side it is minus Q by 2. This will be the situation at that time. And what will be the voltage across it? 0. But what will be the current through it? Peak current, let us call it I naught. But I know energy is conserved. If energy is conserved, then I can say half of Q square by C is equal to half of Q by 2 square. Q by 2 square by C for one capacitor, multiplied by 2 for the other capacitor, plus energy stored in the inductor. I told you today only, it is, you may not have remembered it. Energy stored in inductor formula
Half
is
Li square.
half
Half
L
I square.
into
Li
I naught square. So are we getting the value of peak current also from this now? By energy conservation? Conservation of energy. Initial energy I am equating with final energy. Initially energy was only in one capacitor. Neither inductor was carrying magnetic energy, nor the other capacitor was carrying the energy. Only one capacitor was carrying. But finally, when charge is supplied Q by 2, then this also remains Q by 2, other also gets Q by 2. So energy stored in both capacitors comes out to be half of Q by 2 square by C into 2. Are we getting I naught from here? I think we are getting now. Tell me what is I naught now. Q square by 4C, I think, by 2C, 12C, I think. Okay, solve it and then I will write the answer directly. You just solve it and tell me the answer. My answer, I think I'm getting as Q by
2CL.
root is inside or outside?
Root or 2CL, sir.
This
Outside only, sir. 4. Outside.
I think this only.
That only, sir. Root or 2CL.
This only, Ali.
Yes, sir.
Right. So we are getting the net current by energy conservation, maximum current, peak current. Now, can you tell me what will be the equation of it? I know equation is in the form of I naught sine omega t plus phi. What is omega here? Tell me what is omega? 1 by root of?
1 by root and
1 by root or LC?
No, not LC this time. Series effective capacitance, LC by 2.
LC by 2.
LC by 2. Effective capacitance only we have to take because it has two capacitors. So total capacitance is C by 2. So then, then we get it as at t equal to 0. At t equal to 0, I was equal to 0. It means phi, because at that time only we close the switch. And when we close the switch, then initially the current flowing through the inductor was 0, and inductor has this property. Inductor has this property, it does not let the current change suddenly. If it was 0, then it will continue to be 0 just before and just after. It cannot become suddenly 0 to something. Okay.
Initial
Just after closing the
zero.
switch, initial current will be 0. So I can take I to be 0. Then I have to put in this I0 use this equation and put in this I as 0 and then t also 0, then what we get phi as? I think by this we get 0 is equal to I naught into sine 0 plus phi. Then I am getting phi is equal to 0. Then what is the value of phi? I is coming out to be I naught into sine omega t plus phi. Sorry, not need to take phi now. Phi is converted into 0, just sine omega t. This is I. Somebody may ask you now that what is the value of charge as a function of time? If they are asking you charge as a function of time, then how to find that?
Integrating.
I recommend you to find charge flowing as a function of time. Never find out the charge stored on the capacitor as a function of time. What you should find? You should find charge
Charge flowing.
as a function of time. I will give you the reason for it. Find this. Even if they are asking charge stored in the capacitor, first you find this. From there we can get other thing also.
Initial
Charge
minus
flowing
charge
will be,
flowing.
because charge flowing is easy to tell, because initial charge will be flowing is 0. There only it will start flowing. From there onwards it will start flowing. So I can always write the charge flowing equation as the maximum charge flowing, let us say it is Q naught maximum, which is flowing, into sine omega t. Always it will be in this form. Why? Because initial charge flowing will be 0. Just at t equal to 0, it will take some time for the charge to flow. It will not be instantaneously flowing. So what I will be getting now? After what time it will attain the peak value? I know one thing, that current was 0 initially and it attained the peak value, and that will happen obviously in what time? T/4 time period. I versus t graph. In T/4 time, it will attain the peak value. What is the time period? Everybody knows time period will be obtained from here, 2 pi by omega. So which we can get. What is that? That is 2 pi into 1 by root LC. So it will become root LC by 2. What is T/4? We can get T/4 also. After getting T/4, you know, at t equal to T/4, what charge was flown? Charge flown was equal to what? At equal to T/4, charge flown was equal to, did I get it before or not? Yes, I know, it was Q/2, right? Was it Q/2 or not?
Q/2, sir.
Because how do I know it is Q/2 now? Somebody may ask me this question. How do I know that it is Q/2? I know this thing.
I've
I
only
know because
proved
when the current becomes maximum here,
di by dt is equal to 0.
yes, di by dt is 0. So when di by dt is 0, then this I slope of I versus t graph is 0. And for that time we are finding out. So at that time it means we are finding for T/4 time only. So then at t equal to T/4, what will be Q value here? Q was equal to Q/2 found before only, and now we will use it here. So charge flown is this. So what we get then? We get Q/2 is equal to Q0/2 into sine omega into T/4. What we get from here? We are getting, I think, not Q0/2. Why I am writing by 2 here? It is
There will be a phase of phi, sir.
charge will be,
There will be a phase change, sir.
what I was saying, phase change of pi.
Phi.
Why? There is no phase change. I understood your doubt. What is your doubt here? Q is the charge supplied, right? Wait a second. What should we write it then? You want to write it as I into dt integral, right? If I write that way, then I will be getting I naught into
Then we
sine
get some-
omega t into dt integral. Then what do I get here? I get I naught into, what will I be getting?
minus cos omega t by omega.
I naught into minus
Cos omega t
by omega.
plus constant t.
Cos omega t by omega
Minus.
minus plus some constant
Yes, sir.
c. Let
At
us use
time
that
t
only
is
then.
equal to 0, q will be 0, sir. Then there will be some
Then-
constant.
Then I should not use this formula here.
Yes, sir.
I should not use this, and then I will. Although I'm thinking I will get that only q sine omega t, but I now okay fine. You do this way, and then after that answer I think will be same only. It seems. Let me check once. What is the constant? I don't know the constant here. Do I know the constant? At t equal to 0, q is 0 because charge was not flown at that time. It was just started flowing. No, q will be 0. So what do I get then? C as. C I got as. Yes, I think I should have done this only. It is right. It will not be sine omega t. It will be something else. I think so. That was my mistake. It seems. What is q coming out to be? Q was coming out to be now I naught into cos omega t will become by omega minus plus c. Q is 0. So I'm getting c is equal to I naught by omega. Then I get q equation was, I wrote it wrong last time. You are right only. It should be I naught by omega into 1 minus cos omega t. That is q. Is it right? Q is equal to I naught by omega into 1 minus cos omega t. Okay. What do I get then after that?
But it is not an assistant.
It is SHM only. This is also SHM. Why is it not an SHM?
2 cos square
Who told you
omega
this?
t. Sir.
What?
System only.
It is SHM only. It is
sir.
SHM with a different mean position.
Yes,
Its
sir.
mean position is different. It is SHM only. So this is charge, right? This is a charge flow. Now, if somebody is asking you, what is a charge stored in second capacitor as a function of time, then that will be this Q only, because this is only being supplied to it. But if somebody asks you, what is a charge stored in the first capacitor as a function of time, then
Q,
that will be
capital
Q
Q
minus Q.
Capital Q minus Q.
So that's why you first find out only the charge flowing in the circuit. Then you decide what will be stored in what capacitor. But first you just find out the charge flown, right? Q also obtained. If they are asking what is the voltage across the inductor as a function of time, then just write it as L into di by dt. We can get that, all those things also. So I hope you get questions now. If they say multiple capacitor cases and multiple inductor cases, one capacitor, second capacitor, third capacitor, 1, 2, 3, C1, C2, C3, L1, L2, L3, and mutual inductances are given to be 0. Otherwise, it will be more complicated. Then whenever mutual inductance is given 0, first of all these inductors will be just like a single inductor for us, L. And all these capacitors will be like a charged battery,
Single capacitor.
single charge battery and a single capacitor. Single capacitor having series capacitance CS, and single charge battery, whatever that is coming out after finding these out, that is single EMF. So can you do such questions again? Again, what will be the charge? What will be the charge flown? Maximum. What will be the maximum current fluid? Same way we can find out the maximum current. How? Voltage across inductor at that time will be 0 when the current is maximum, because at that time, EMF across this E will be obtained directly across the capacitor. So E into CS will be the charge flown up to that instant of time. The charge flown will be E into CS. Okay. And I think I can do it in another way also. I can say the work done by battery is equal to Q into E. And the work done by battery is equal to half of L into I square plus half of q square by cs.
నేను ఇప్పుడు ఫోన్ చేయనా ఫిజిక్స్ క్లాస్ జరుగుతుంది ఫిజిక్స్ క్లాస్ అసలు ఫోన్ చేయ
Half into cs into e square.
10 నిమిషాలు ఆడాడు అయిపోద్ది ఫిజిక్స్ క్లాస్ నాకు అసలుకి కాన్సెప్ట్ ఏం అర్థం కాదని నేను చూస్తున్నాను కానీ నెంబర్
CS in
చెప్తాను
Anudeep.
అమ్మ ఫోన్ తీసుకురా
Anudeep.
సారీ సార్
Mute yourself. Memo, mute yourself. Half into cs into e square is equal to half into l into I square. You understood this equation here? I am not converting into the actual situation. Without converting into actual situation, I am saying when voltage across it will become 0, then the net voltage across battery will be, this is also not an actual battery. It is just assumed battery there. You know how we assume battery effectively just to replace the circuit. Then this battery EMF E will be appearing across the capacitance. Then what charge will be stored in this? CS into E will be stored. What will be the work done by the battery? Q into E will be the work done by battery. Work done by battery will be converted into energy stored in the inductor plus energy stored in the capacitor. Energy stored in the inductor half Li not square. It is the maximum current which will be there at that time. How do we know maximum current? Because I already assumed VL to be 0 at that time. Where I assumed VL to be 0, therefore I took it like a short circuit and I assumed that only EMF is appearing across the capacitor. What will be energy stored in this effective capacitor? Half into CS into E square. Then what we get I am getting effectively as the peak current I naught we are getting as CS into E upon L under the root. This last time we got different, this time we are getting different. Why is it so? Or is it same? I am not able to realize it. I think it is same only. I will convert. I think it will be same only. Let us check last time what we got. Last time we got I naught as this thing. Can I write it in this form? What was the EMF last time? Last time our EMF was equal to Q by C. Let us write in terms of EMF. What do we get then? Q by C. Q I don't want to write. I want to write Q as C into E. If I write that as C into E, then I will get I as C into E divided by root 2 LC. Or I will be getting this as E
into root
of C by 2L. This time what I am getting now? I think same only I am getting again. Same only. CS. Last time the series effective capacitance was equal to C by 2. Last time the effective series capacitance was C by 2. Now it will be CS only. So same only. So we can just remember this thing. That finally the peak current comes out to be equal to root of CS by L into E. And when that current is known, then the things are, then after that I is equal to I naught into sine omega t. Omega also you know already. What is omega here? Omega is equal to that thing 1 upon root of LCS. We know that also. And once we know this I, and then charge flowing as we got before last time by integrating I into dt integral, and then we will get some integration constant. How to get that integration constant? That we get by putting initial conditions. Then means the case of multiple capacitors and multiple inductors is as easy as the case of a single capacitor and a single inductor. Understood? Is it okay?
Sir, one scroll up, sir.
Yes.
At sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. Next. Fine. Right. Next we can have damped oscillation example. I can take if I want. Damped oscillation means if I take some resistance also, then how the oscillation will be dying out. So this is capacitor, this is inductor, and it was having some initial charge Q, and there was a resistor also in the circuit. Switch was open. As long as switch is open, nothing happens to it. It will just carry charge and no current will be flowing through the inductor. The moment switch is closed, it will send the current through the inductor, but there is a resistance which will try to dissipate the value of the energy stored in it, right? So how to write the equation? First, let us write the equation for it. Equation written will be how to write the equation. Equation I will write in this way. it is, let us say, at any instant of time q, decreasing, plus minus. Current is going this side, current is going this side. It is becoming plus, it is minus. So let us start from which place you want to start from? From capacitor, minus, plus. From here to here, it is increasing in capacitor. Q by C minus I into R, minus I into R, minus L into di by dt is equal to 0. Is that right? This is I here. This is also I here. And this is L here. Now differentiate again. Here after this, students commit mistake here. Very big chances of mistake after this. If I differentiate here, then I should not put this thing as I by C minus di by dt into R minus L into d square I by dt square equal to 0. Is it right equation, or already I committed some mistake here? Tell me.
Minus I by C.
Yes, because charge is decreasing with time.
Decreasing
here.
with time.
The capacitor charges. The capacitor charge is decreasing with time. So this is common mistake which some students commit. They will just write dq by dt as plus I. We should not do that. Then what we should write instead? Minus. Or you can remember in simple way that nothing is negative. In case of damped oscillation, nothing is negative. Everything is positive. D square R by d square I by dt square plus R into di by dt plus I by C is equal to 0. This way I told you to remember in case of SHM also. When we write this simple harmonic equation in SHM, when this BV force is there, drag force, Kx is also there, and mass into acceleration will be there, force is equal to mass into acceleration. There also I told you, just remember that everything will be positive only. What I write there? I write d square x by dt square plus b into dx by dt plus last thing is equal to mass in, wait a second, what do I do here? M into this plus b into dx by dt. Last one is what I'm leaving, kx plus kx is equal to 0. I told you there also that just very simple way to remember is everything will remain positive. So here you understand what is coming in place of what. I think in place of x we are getting I. In place of m, we are getting nothing, huh? Nothing. No, L should be there. L is, I left L somewhere. Where is it? L. In place of m, we are getting L. Mass, inertia. You know, L is like inertia, property of inertia, and mass is also property of inertia. It is coming like that. And see, resistance. I told you know that this resistance is playing the role of energy loss. Here, energy loss is due to B. In one case, it is due to B, and in other case, it is due to R. See here. What about K? K is behaving like 1 by C. A reciprocal of C. Okay, the spring constant is behaving like a reciprocal of C. Now, how to solve such equations? If you remember, I told you just write it as d square write it as d square plus R by L into D plus I by LC, sorry, plus 1 by LC whole multiplied by I is equal to 0. And then I told you, take it like a quadratic in D. If it is a quadratic in D, then I can find out the roots of the quadratic equation. I can write those roots as alpha and beta. D minus alpha into D minus beta into I will be equal to 0. This is a way to convert a quadratic equation into linear equation, or a differential equation of second order into first order differential equation, which will be simple. So alpha and beta you can find out from here, I think so. You can do that yourself only now, and you can get the result what we get. But what is alpha? B square minus root will be, the roots will be alpha oblique beta will be just minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Now you see what is here b, what is a, minus of r by l plus or minus root of r square by l square minus 4 by lc. These are the values of alpha or beta. D minus alpha into I is equal to 0. What does it mean now? Again, put D back. What was D? D was replaced in place of d by dt. So then I can write it as d by dt of I minus alpha into I is equal to 0, which is a simple equation. No? Hello? Hello?
Sir.
Sir, in first equation,
yes,
you took I common.
Audible.
In first equation, I have to?
I common.
I have taken common here.
Then divided by?
Divided by? See, I is in first, I is in second, I is in third also.
No, yes, sir.
Okay, I just, after that I divided by L also. I took I common and I divided by L everywhere. Okay. Then I get di, what I get here, di by I is equal to minus alpha into dt integral. Here I get log I is equal to minus alpha t. I value will vary from
Plus alpha, sir.
wait a second, I think I am making a wrong analogy here once that thing I had done wrong here. You know, one thing here, see, what have I done here? It is not required to be I, it could be just Q only. It is not required to be I. Why? Because I could write it as dq by dt. This I could write d square q by dt square, and this I can write just q by c only. Then this will be plus, this will be plus, this will be plus here. I'm not saying it is wrong equation which I wrote before, but I said it was unnecessary.
Yes, sir.
That equation was also correct, but that was not required. Why I felt at last? I was thinking, normally, you know, before this also when I was explaining, I was saying velocity is equivalent to current. I was saying velocity is equivalent to current, but now I was noticing how x is coming out to be equivalent to current. X is not equivalent to current. Velocity is equivalent to the current only. Velocity will be equivalent to current. That mistake I was committing. Remaining is okay, no problem. So means this whole equation can be written in terms of Q also. Then also it will be same equation, exactly same way we can analyze it. Then this will be again in terms of Q only, and then this is also Q only. Here also Q, and I know that log of Q is equal to minus alpha t. What was the initial charge in the capacitor? Initial charge in the capacitor was Q, capital Q. Then I realized when I started to put the limits at last that I have done something not required, which is not required. Otherwise also I don't know what is the current initially, and from that we are not getting the right result also. So Q we are getting as Q into e raised to power minus alpha d. But alpha again has different things here. Alpha could be positive. If alpha is positive, then it is this kind of graph of charge varying as a function of time. If alpha is negative, alpha will not be negative also. Alpha could be imaginary. If alpha is complex number, alpha is imaginary. Alpha means a discriminant of that. What was the discriminant? Discriminant was this thing here. R square by L square minus 4 by LC. If this discriminant is negative, then we have imaginary term. And in case if alpha is,
Sir, those alpha, this alpha.
if alpha is,
This alpha.
which alpha?
Same. So,
This is only alpha or beta.
nice.
So if alpha is having imaginary term, then this is only real alpha. It is only real alpha. Then we will be getting this. If alpha is having imaginary term also, then we will be getting some e raised to power iota omega t term. E raised to power iota term we will be getting, no? And e raised to power iota will give us sinusoidal term. You know that or not?
Yes,
If I
sir.
have e raised to power iota something,
Yes, sir.
so sinusoidal term will be appearing. So for the sinusoidal graph, it will be something, this kind of graph will be obtained. Means overall it will be decreasing amplitude of charge will be decreasing with time. But at the same time, it will be performing some oscillations also. It will be decreasing and as well as it will be performing oscillations also. That will happen only when alpha is imaginary. And when alpha will have imaginary term, when this term r square by L square, when r square by L square will be less than 4 upon LC. I can say when RC will be less than L by, no, it's not that way. That is not better way to write. I will prefer to write L by R is time constant, I think, right? L by R is time constant. When L by R will be, what should I do? Greater than LC by root LC by 2, right or not?
Yes, sir.
But L by R is time constant of LR circuit. If time constant of LR circuit is time constant of LR circuit is greater than, what was else? Root LC was having some significance, I think. So what was its significance? No, R by L is time constant, I think. What is time constant? R by L or L by R? R by L is
L by R, sir.
what was omega? Omega was
1 by
1
root.
by root 2 LC.
1 by root LC or 2 root 1 by root LC, I think.
1 by root L.
1 by root LC.
And time period will be 2 pi into root LC. Okay, understood. Then it is right only. Then we are getting here L by R is that, and L by R should be here greater than root LC by 2. But that is time constant of LR circuit. That should be greater than. That should be greater than what? That should be greater than time period by
1 by 2 omega.
1 by 2 omega. Huh? In terms of time period, it is time period upon 4 pi.
Yes, sir. T by 4.
T by 4 pi. We are getting this. So means obviously some strange relation, but anyway, when this happens, then the imaginary term will be there. When imaginary term will be there, then it will not die out rapidly. It will not die out like this here as it is dying out in the first case without performing any oscillation. Then charge will just flow once only, but there will not be any oscillations. That will not happen. So it will start some oscillations also will be there in the case when there is imaginary term. And when the imaginary term will be there, imaginary term will be there under these circumstances. Okay. Right.
Sir, why this
So I think
minus-
this, where minus?
minus alpha.
Sir, only plus alpha T getting.
But from equation we are getting plus alpha.
Oh, my God, what am I doing here?
Down.
No, I understood what you are saying. But actually,
We are finding charge flowing, no sir. Charge flowing milling.
no, not that. Everything is right. It is negative only, but I have committed mistake in just saying this thing only, that alpha and beta are the roots. Alpha and beta are not the roots. Minus alpha and minus beta are the roots, let us say.
Then it will
I
be
don't know
d
where
plus
should.
alpha into d plus beta. Plus alpha into
Then
d
it will
plus
be
beta.
d plus alpha into
D plus
d plus beta. Minus alpha and minus beta are the roots. Minus alpha and minus beta are the roots. Plus alpha. Then here it became minus. Then it is, after that it is fine. Just change this here. D plus alpha into d plus beta. And then it is, everything is fine. Alpha is greater than positive is also okay. No problem in that. Then everything is right after it. This only we should be getting. Okay, so it will be oscillation and damped oscillations. Two kinds of situations possible. One state can die rapidly also, and the other possibility is also there. All right. So this is enough for today. Tomorrow I will be taking the left out part. One left out part is there now, and that I have to take some formula of. I have to take formula of self inductance and mutual inductance in some special cases. Inductances and mutual inductances of some special type of inductors. Starting with, I will start with solenoid. What is the inductance of solenoid? I will start with this. Then I will find for the toroid. Then I will find for some other cases also. Okay, then let us end it here. Tomorrow I will take those things.
Sir, once show the
Energy in inductors.
Energy in inductor is
Energy in
energy stored in the inductor is half Li square.
Today what?
Today you have to do what? You have to do the questions of previous ID in HC Verma. You can do almost all the questions, no problem in that. Don't worry about it much. Okay. Although I have not discussed the inductance formula of the solenoid. If some question asks in which they ask what is the formula for what is the inductance of solenoid, then such question you can leave, or you can see the solution. Then also you can understand. It is not much difficult to understand. Difficult parts I have covered, because I have covered already the difficult parts. So you can start doing the questions. No problem in that. Okay. In few places where they are asking what is the mutual inductance of this, or what is the self inductance of this, such questions you can leave, or you can see the solution. You can understand from that also. Because why I am saying, why I'm 100% sure that you can understand, because last week I told you how to find out the flux, and I gave you this week the definition that flux upon current will be the inductance. So if you can find out the numerator, and you know the numerator upon that I will be the inductance, then you already know how to find out the inductance. You already know that it will not take much time. Okay, you already know these things. Okay. What was he asking for? He asking for half Li square energy stored in inductor. I don't know where it is now.
I will
Okay.
copy from friends notes. Okay.
That is just all right. And you can read somewhat from SCV also, and after that you can start solving the questions of all questions of SCV and previous ID. You can solve any question, no problem in that. Okay. Okay, then I am ending it now.